Not much. How you guys doing? It's a beautiful Monday, and all this news coming out. Yeah.
Check that. If so, I am sorry, Daz. You'll hear my voice in a second. Is this better, Daz? I think that was my fault with no sound, so I apologize. Anyway, I hope you guys heard DreadP00l's introduction. It's season 2, episode 13, discussing Xbox July event, breaking news with Mixer, Xbox Series X price, and Last of Us Part 2 review bombs, and Assassin's thoughts. EA Play Live and Crash Bandicoot 4 that is not a mobile game. And uh, everybody heard DreadP00l? Just in case, DreadP00l, can you just reintroduce yourself?
How's it going? I'm the special guest for today. My name's Dreadpool. It's a beautiful Monday, and all the news is hitting on a Monday.
Absolutely, it is, and thank you for that. That was a stellar reintroduction, and I apologize, buddy.
It's all right.
And the guy who's never missed an episode, no matter what's going on in his life or how many Minecraft farms he's blowing up with creepers, we welcome ZPCI Assassin. What's up, buddy?
I like to put on record I didn't blow up any farms. What creepers do is on their own time, not mine.
Mm-hmm. Sure. But we got you to change your introduction. Well, thank you for coming back. And what's up, Zebra Fries? How's it going?
What's up? That was for Daz. He wanted at least 10 what's out of me this podcast. That's the word.
Daz's favorite thing to say is this. Well, so you guys have heard the news with what's going on with Mixer. And I want to get your thoughts on this. Unfortunately, there was some stuff coming out about big streamers and different things that occurred and things that happened to an employee there. On top of that, there's other rumors and allegations that this has actually been in the talks for a while before COVID-19. Tim Dog did post a tweet to an article, I believe it was in Forbes. And then on MSFT.com, they did post that Mixer had very minimal growth. And this was about 3 to 4 days ago before all this stuff started coming out. And it seemed like that all the signals were there that Mixer was in trouble anyway. But my personal opinion is that with everything going on, it was a perfect time, now more than ever, for Microsoft to make a business move and go ahead and integrate that with Facebook Gaming and get rid of Mixer. Unfortunately, there was a lot of good streamers on there, a lot of good people that did work at Mixer, so I do feel for them. I want to go to Assassin, who doesn't really stream to Mixer, but I want to get his opinion. Assassin, what's going on? What's your opinion on this?
In a world where YouTube and Twitch and Facebook becoming, more popular, Mixer sucked. Mixer never really worked. Mixer always had problems, at least when I used it. Mixer didn't have the viewers. And then Microsoft, I don't think, really gave it, a chance. Like, before they bought Ninja or whatever, it was dying. Then they bought Ninja and Shroud, which was just a complete, I think, a waste of money, to be honest. I think rumor was like 30 million for Ninja. Like, that's a lot for just one dude, and that didn't really bring in many viewers. And then like the whole like Mixer like drops, like I feel like they started that and then they just gave up on it. Like, no, you don't do that. That brings in people, even if it's like false viewership or whatever. The people are just there for like free stuff, but it still bring people to the platform. And you gave up on it. Like, I think Sea of Thieves had like 2 drops, and then it went to Twitch, and now they had like 2 weeks of drops, and that's not the first time they did it, and they just gave up on it.
Yeah, I think that is quite disappointing because it seemed like, at first they talked about all these mix pots, the Mixer giveaways, the drops, and then it seemed like that didn't even last that long, maybe like less than a year, and then it seemed like Twitch got all the stuff that you're talking about, especially with the Sea of Thieves. That was a big deal for that game. Dreadpool, you got thoughts on this?
Well, I didn't have any issues myself when it came to Mixer when you're playing right off the console. It was a nice, easy setup. Um, the only thing I had was when you were trying to put everything on screen, you can't see when you're showing what you're showing to your people that are watching you stream, right? So if you're doing that, you can't see either. So you have to, fix it up a little bit and bring in like either a laptop or a phone. But then you're too busy playing the game. You're not, then versus looking down at your phone. Now, for those that went a little bit more advanced and started streaming from their computers, yeah, it's a little bit easier. But you still had to, there was that setup. And then once you're already on, and then they redid the configuration, you had to go back in and recertify that you can stream all this stuff. I think what was it, the spaghetti screen incident that everybody had to recertify and be like proper, but the messaging was bad. I mean, overall it was easy. Even, using some other apps and OBS, it wasn't that bad once you figured out what you were doing, but there was no help at first. You know what I'm saying? So between that, then you had upper management that didn't care about creators. They were talking about all that. Then you had the discrimination thing that just popped up. Yeah, it was a downward cycle. I mean, they should have done more. Who knows what embers are, right? Who knows what sparks are? Everybody's always asking what sparks are. It's like, I don't know. And when you're reading it, you're like, okay, so it gets you noticed, but you have to watch a lot to earn sparks to give it to somebody, but you can't help somebody if you don't watch enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's a double-edged sword. And then the embers, I think it was like 10% that the creator got that you paid for. So you put $10 in, and the creator got $1 out of it, but they had to build up so much before they can get that payout. And it was like during that pledge week or whatever you want to call it, that they had, that limited time to do all this. So, and if you didn't make that number, you didn't get any of it. So I was like, that makes no sense whatsoever. It was a good idea, but they never really implemented it right. And I think too many of them had the God complex that they were untouchable. And that's the upper management people, not the streamers. The streamers were, doing what they had to do to make those numbers.
Taylor, you have any thoughts on this?
I feel like Mixer was, they just tried to do way too much with the platform and never fully implemented any of the things that they tried to do, and would just give up on any of the ideas when they're like, oh, this isn't working, and would never completely follow through with anything. And just any of the ideas that they had just were halfway done, and then they're like, well, I don't know what to do with this anymore, and just kind of either left it there or gave up on it. And that's kind of where Mixer failed a little bit, because anytime that I tried to use it myself, the stream would crash, the stream just wouldn't even start, and that's part of the reason why I just never streamed on it. And especially like when Xbox was more to like you can only use Mixer, like that was more like when I was done with streaming for a while, and then I figured out how to stream with Twitch. And during quarantine, that's when I was streaming, because I could stream with Twitch. And so that one was just easier for me to use personally. It made more sense. So I feel like that's part of the reason why so many people just didn't want to go to Mixer, is it was not as user-friendly as they tried to make it be.
Yeah, I could see that. HTK thinks it was cooler when it was Beam, and I gotta agree with you. When they first changed the name to Mixer, I didn't like the name Mixer. I did like Beam a lot more. I was an original Beam member, so I was a little disappointed to see that change. And over the time though, Mixer grew on me, and the last few days that we've been playing golf with your friends, which I hope you did download, Taylor, because it was a fun game.
I did.
I've been streaming it on Mixer and I've been having a blast, and I feel like that Mixer's gotten better over time. I could download my clips super fast. Like, I had some clips up there that were, I think, 9.1 gigabytes, and I downloaded it within like 4 minutes, which wouldn't have happened on platforms like Twitch or YouTube because their servers are so overloaded that it would take a lot longer. But I mean, maybe that's just proven that Mixer was hurting, that they didn't have a lot of people on their bandwidth. I don't know. But at the end of the day, my thoughts are with the employees and the good streamers that were on there that are going to have to find new homes. There's a really good streamer there, Bob Duck and Weave. He's a really good guy. He does a lot of designs and stuff, and he made Mixer his home, became a partner, worked really hard at it, and I feel bad for him and the guys like him and people like him out there on there. The next thing I wanted to get into with Xbox is the July event coming up. And this is pretty much all speculation. I haven't seen any definitive leaks. I mean, I expect, of course, Halo to be shown. I really am hoping for Fable. Like, to be honest with you, I don't really care for many of the Xbox first-party titles being shown except for Fable. That's all I want. Like, Fable is like Dishonored to you, Teller. Like, that's what it is to me. Fable is that sacred title that I want to see, and I don't want anybody to ever trash it. Even though Fable Legends seem like far off and a ridiculous game, I was really hoping for it and hope they fixed it up and turned down some of those microtransactions. Instead, they just got rid of the whole thing. So I had a broken heart, and I was very sad with tears from that. But Assassin, I want to go to you on this one. You speculate a lot, you think about a lot of things, and you have some thoughts on this?
I mean, not really, because like all I keep on thinking about with the July event, like I just feel like we're gonna be sort of disappointed. Like after seeing the PlayStation one, right? It was really good. Well, half of it was really good. And like, I hope Xbox can deliver that, good quality stuff. Like we'll see Halo and Forza and all that other stuff. But like, I feel like they're just gonna ruin it. They're just gonna have that one, like the inside Xbox like layout where they get these Xbox employees. They sit down with like these developers and then just have like an interview like in the middle of it and just throws it all off. Like no one like there's a show for that. And then there's, like what we're going to see. Like, we don't need those like little interviews. Like, I would rather have like let's just say a Forza developer comes on and just talks like, with Sony. Like, they talk about the game while they showed it. Like, we don't, like I said before, we don't need like some Joe Schmo be like, oh yeah, I really like these tires. Like, can you explain these tires? Like, we don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but as for games, I hope we see a bunch of new first-party games that are exciting and not like Halo. And, obviously we'll see Halo, but, nothing like sci-fi. No, I don't know. But, like, just some good. Like, we need a Last of Us or Uncharted or, a Sony game, but on Microsoft.
Do you think that we'll see any more Pop Funko mobile games from Microsoft?
Oh my god. I swear mobile games and shows like that never work. We saw Command & Conquer from an EA show. It was terrible. We saw this Pop Funko thing. Game's terrible. And we don't need any of that.
Or they just get scrapped. They don't come out.
I mean, yeah, that's true too, and I think the mobile market's so saturated that if they were to, like, let's say, do like another Pop Funko game, I don't know what would happen. I don't know if people would, go towards it, or if they would just stick with the Gears Pop game. I'm not sure. Dreadpool, you got any thoughts on this July showcase coming up?
Yes. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Okay, let's not get overhyped, because what happens when you get overhyped? Something doesn't meet your expectations. You know what I'm saying? So I believe they're going to have mic drop after mic drop like everybody's saying, but that mic drop might not be your cup of tea. You know what I mean? It might not be the game that you're looking for. So to you, that won't be a mic drop, but to somebody else, it's an epic mic drop. So we got to remember that. The other thing is, I'm expecting them to show some gameplay from Halo. I'm expecting, actual gameplay, not CGI in scene cinematics and all that crap that they want to say. That's gameplay. That's not gameplay. That's me watching a video. That's me watching. That's not me playing. I want to see somebody controlling the gameplay and seeing something happen. You know what I mean? And reaction, a person playing and reacting, and how the game feels and reacts as you are entering a corridor or coming around a corner and see stuff like this. I want to see that. That's gameplay. Somebody in controller in hand. We might not be able to see controller in hand, but I want to see that operation. And I do want to see at least probably the end screen mic drop would be at least a Fable scene, a cut scene, or just even the title, just Fable 4 or Fable, and then something, something like that as the final thing. At least this way we know for a fact, which we already know is in the works, but at least we know that it's done. It's there. They're working on it. We can move on from. I hope this next game they're working on is Fable. Because until they actually say it, they could always change the name. It could be Fable until they change the name, or it could be the other game until they say, okay, yeah, we'll call it Fable now. So we don't know, but let's get an official Fable from them. The other thing is, I'm expecting some more hardware information. I don't expect any pricing, but I expect some more detailed information on how the hardware and the operating system all combined work. I want to know about a little bit more about the AI and certain things. So that's what I'm looking at for the July event.
Do you think we'll see anything from Microsoft and Cyberpunk?
That's kind of to be expected. Maybe something to show that it looks good right now, but you think this is good, we're still polishing it. Now the other thing is, I'm almost half expecting Batman. I'm expecting some sort of announcement there. Maybe show us something. I mean, how long have you been watching this stuff, expecting Batman to show up? So it'd be nice to see that. It'd be nice to actually hear maybe they bought what AT&T was trying to sell off, and with the IPs, not just the studios. That'd be cool, because then they can get their, I wouldn't say AAA every month, but at least they can get closer to it. But have good games along with decent games every month. So that'd be kind of cool, but we'll see.
I just want to go back into the chat real quick. I've been scrolling on my phone, looking at the chat and different things. So if you see me look away, it's because of that. And we're live on Facebook as well. Alex said that he also loves Fable. Alex, you're a smart guy. I have a lot of respect for you. Anybody who's a Fable fan, I respect you. Probably the way that TLOU respects people that like Dishonored. I'm like Assassin who hates that game.
See, I want to have a Fable 2 rehash of the Master Chief armor. Let's bring that back again in 4.
Oh, that would be nice, man. Something like that. That would get people hyped up.
Yeah, I played as Master Chief the whole way through. Once I got the armor, I was like, oh yeah, this ain't coming off.
Taylor, I haven't gone to you on this one yet, but you have any thoughts on this?
I don't do a lot of speculation stuff because otherwise I get really disappointed by things. The only thing that I'm certain of that we will see is Halo Infinite, which even that, I don't want to get my hopes up for what we'll see for it because I want to see gameplay of it. I don't want just another cinematic trailer or whatever. I want to see gameplay. So even that, I don't want to get my hopes up for seeing gameplay because if I don't see gameplay, I'm going to be really annoyed. So I'm just going to sit here patiently and just wait.
Yeah, I understand completely. You know, there's one game that I really would like to see Arcane Studios bring to Xbox, and I think they will eventually. I think it was only a timed exclusive. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that awesome game Deathloop that Assassin is so against all of a sudden?
All
Um,
of a sudden, that looked like trash when they showed it.
I gotta say, man, I think Arcane Studios is stepping it up, and I would like to play that on Xbox, especially Series X. I think that would be a lot of fun getting those achievements on that game. And, you know, do you think that also at the same time they'll reveal any pricing on the Series X? Because there's been, I mean, some leaks and some rumors. I'm not sure if you guys have read the full article, but the Lockhart rumored to be as low as, I believe, $200, spaced out all the way up to $600, depending on the edition that you get. So, what do you guys think about this? Dreadpool, I want to go to you first on this one.
Oh.
Dreadpool, you there?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. Something happened there. What was that last part? He broke up.
The pricing on the Xbox Series X.
Oh, yes.
So, you have any thoughts on this? Because I've seen some analysts say as low as $200 for Lockhart.
Yeah. That's a pipe dream. You know what I mean? We know it exists. If it is 200, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic because that means then they can get that console to more people a lot easier because it's going to be cheaper. So now instead of buying, let's say a family buying a Series X, they can buy 2 Lockharts for their 2 children. So each one can have one. So that would be definitely an ideal situation. You know, and then, you know, for $400 for a console like that, that's going to be great. And from what I heard, 450 is the target that they're playing with. So obviously, the 450 right there, that could go up or down. You know, and that's it's not a bad pricing. It's going to be very competitive. We'll see what happens. I mean, it depends on the messaging because you got toxic trolls that are like $200. What for? It's not worth it. It's not worth anything if it's only $200. It's cheap. It's a cheap product. So they just need to get that messaging that it's not just a cheap product. They need to be able to say it's not a premium product like the Series X is, but it's still a good product to purchase for that price. You know, it's not cheap. It's just cheap in price.
That makes sense. I mean, I know there's a lot of speculation out there, and I think people are getting their hopes up because they want to be able to afford next gen, and it seems like the price on next gen could be as high as $600 rumored on the PS5. So, Assassin, I know that budget is a big concern of yours. What do you think about this?
Well, I would love the console to be 400, but I have a feeling, just looking at the past, Microsoft's console's been 500. I have a feeling they're going to stay with that number. No way in hell they'll do a 600. They don't want a PS3 situation here. But so I'm thinking 500 and then 200, maybe for that lower console. But let's just hope they do some marketing for that lower console if it does come out this year, and some comparisons with the Series X versus the what we're playing now as well.
Do you think that you'll get the next gen on day one, Assassin, or will you do like the Xbox All Access? Is that something that might appeal to you?
Well, I'm not going to do all access. Either I have all the money or, I don't have the console. But I'm hoping for day one. I mean, like I said, it depends on price. If it was 400, it's looking more likely. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Taylor, I'm not sure. Are you going to be upgrading next gen, and is price a concern for you?
I do want to upgrade to the next gen, just because I always end up upgrading anyway. So, price is a little bit of a concern, but if I have to wait a little longer, then I will. But I think 500 is something that they're going to end up sticking at. And then maybe for the smaller version, the S or whatever they're calling it right now, I don't think 200 is what they'll do, because if you look at the Xbox One S, they put that at 300 when they released it. So I think 200, that's something that's out of the question, honestly.
Now, for someone like yourself, if they did a low-end Lockhart for like either 200 or 300, would you opt for that, or would you go for like the $500 version?
It would depend for me. It depends on the difference in the specs, and I don't know, honestly. I would have to look at for me, what always ends up being an issue is like storage space, because I always end up downloading so much stuff, and then I am lazy and refuse to go out and buy an external drive. So that's always an issue for me. So it just depends on like storage space and some extra specs and whatnot. I'll do a good like comparison before I end up actually buying anything. But I am also the kind of person that will end up dropping a ton of money as soon as I can to get the new thing, because I'm impatient. So we'll see. Once we get like prices and stuff, that's when I'll start really considering. And we'll go from there.
Well, I'm not sure if you had a chance to play this, Taylor, but The Last of Us 2, like that transition, it was pretty horrible, but The Last of Us 2, I mean, it is getting review bombed, either by angry fans or angry trolls, not sure which one. And it's also getting great reviews from reviewers at the same time. So I know Assassin actually had a lot of hands-on time with this, and without spoiling it for us, Assassin, how do you feel about the game so far?
Oh God. Without spoiling it. Well, let's see. Well, let's start with story without spoilers. I think Last of Us 1 story so far is a bit better compared to Last of Us Part 2. Oh, that's all I can say without spoiling it. The upgrades and stuff. They're definitely a better upgrade in Part 2, but at the same time a downgrade. So, for instance, like your weapons in Last of Us Part 1, each gun had like a bunch of upgrades. You know, well, there was like 3, and then you could upgrade them multiple times. And then Last of Us Part 2, they removed that, so there's like 4 upgrades depending on the weapon, which I think is a little bit better. They cost a little bit less, but the parts are harder to find, which is totally fine with me. Because I felt like in Last of Us 1, you kept on collecting all those things. The supplement upgrades, though, I felt like half of them are useless. For instance, there's like you have some gadgets like bombs and Molotovs and stuff, and in order to craft those, like for the Molotov, you need alcohol and cloth. I find those everywhere. The game is littered with items to craft these things. I'm constantly have a full inventory, and personally, I don't like that. I wish the items were a little bit more scarce. So then, you had that difficult decision of, oh, maybe I need a Molotov here. Let me craft one. Oh, but no, I can't have a med kit. Stuff like that. What else? The gunplay in Last of Us Part 2 and the stealth is so much better than the first one. There's a little bit aim assist compared to the first one, but not much, which kind of annoys me, so I miss a lot of shots. But you can turn on like sticky aim if you're familiar with Uncharted 4, you have that really sticky aim that pretty much does the shooting for you, pretty much, or aiming, which is so annoying. I don't know why anyone would want to use that. Graphically, I think the game looks fucking fantastic. The environmental artists like deserve like a raise because I don't know what they do over there, but it is so good. Just like looking at Seattle with all the, like the plants going over the skyscrapers and the vehicles and all this other stuff is just it's amazing just to even look at. The zombies, well, the infected or whatever they're called in the game, they sound really good. Like I don't know if you just sat there and like listened to a clicker just start clicking and like screaming at you and stuff. Like it is like it's so good. Same thing with the rest of the audio and the music and the ambient noises are really good. I mean, other than that, I don't know. I don't want to get in spoiler territory. I will say that I did shed a tear or two playing the story, but I don't want to go into bigger detail other than that.
What do you feel about the user score versus the reviewer score?
I don't think the game deserves a 10. Well, no game deserves a 10. You know, no game's perfect. But it doesn't deserve a 5 or a 2 or whatever. Like, the game is still very good. Like, there might be an instance here and there, like, did they really need to put that in the game? But then, like, it makes it up further in the game. And it's just like, you know, it deserves, like, 9s, at least from my opinion. In fairness, if I'm done with the story, no. I played, like, 2 more hours today. I think I'm at 12 hours. I've heard people are completing like 20. I don't know if these people are like going through everything. I am going through like every little nook and cranny. Because there's like a lot of like open areas and stuff that just requires so much attention, and I'm just glad I'm giving it the attention that it deserves.
I haven't obviously gone as far as you have in the game. I've maybe played about 54 minutes on the Four Guys with Quarters channel, and I felt like the first good half hour was like all cinematic kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that's Naughty Dog for you. Like these past few games, right? Uncharted 4, everyone gave it so much shit at the beginning because you didn't like kill a dude for like the first like hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean that is true. You did get to move crates though, so you gotta give him credit for that.
But I mean, like, yeah, the beginning of the game like kind of moves slow and stuff, but like you kind of have to set it up, right? Like Last of Us 1, I was telling Inferno, like you had to start the zombie apocalypse right away, and then everything else just comes later. And this, like, the zombie apocalypse already happened, so you can't start it over. You can't just have like, this is why Ellie is now killing everyone. You kind of have to lead it up. This isn't like a Call of Duty campaign, right? So, they have to lead it up. But I also want to mention the game is brutal. Have you ever like picked up like a crowbar and just bash someone's skull in and just hear them like cry out, or you shoot them in like the throat and just blood, like kind of like in like movies or whatever, it just like shoots out like you're turned on like a hose at really high. It's so brutal. I love it.
Dreadpool, have you had a chance to play this, or have you watched any streams? Your thoughts on it?
I haven't really watched anything. Even the leaks, I was able to avoid. That being said, I'm probably going to get bombarded.
But sorry about my dog. Give me a second.
Not a problem. I'm still curious about it. I still want to play it. I am gonna wait because I don't want to double dip. So I'll wait for the PS5 version. I have no clue if that's going to be what it is, but I may have to wait for the PS5 version for that, or I'll get the PS4 and hopefully play it on the PS5. But from what I've seen, it looks pretty cool. As Assassin said, the sound and all that, they upped it. So I'm very interested and intrigued.
Taylor, you have any thoughts on this game?
I want to play it. That's my thoughts.
Have you watched any streams of it?
I have not. I know the big spoiler because Twitter got real mad.
Oh my god, really? You saw that? Oh, I'm not
It
gonna
was
say it, but
all over my Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, that happens, I guess."
if you spoil a game just a spoil a game like the first like I don't know few months, like you deserve to be just removed from Twitter for a few
Twitter got
months.
so mad, and to the point they were harassing like the voice actors and the voice actresses, and I was like, "Y'all need to calm down." Like everyone was mad, and I was like, "Yo, relax."
I haven't watched any streams of it. I was hoping for Assassin to stream, but I think he's gonna do a playthrough first on his own and then possibly stream it later on. But from what I have played, I really like the game. It's very cinematic feeling. I don't know if it stays that way throughout the whole story, Assassin, but I like what I've played so far. And I have seen a lot of stuff being brutal, like you mentioned. And I also accidentally smashed out a car window with my elbow, not meaning to inside the game. So, I mean, there's a lot of cool things that you can interact with. Again, it is Last of Us, and there's violence, gore, all that kind of stuff, infected. But I don't think it deserved all the review bombs it got. I honestly, I don't think it did at all. I think people are just being salty about the game, being angry because they don't have it or they don't have a PlayStation. Or maybe they're just obsessed fans with the first ones and just so angry at Naughty Dog about the way the story's going in part 2. I don't know. But Assassin, that's one thing I did want to ask you. Does the story really deviate from the first one that people would get so mad if they were, how do you say this, obsessed with that first story? Would that really drive people insane?
I mean, it still like continues the story. Not, I mean, like immediately out, like, cause there's a 4 year gap between it, but like, it still like tells you like what happened between those like 4 years, and just to continue that story. That's what you're asking.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what I was asking there. Dreadpool, do you have any comments on the review bombs that it's gotten? I don't know if you did say anything because my dog was barking like crazy.
No, I forgot that part. Because I wasn't going to have any review of myself because watching it, I can have an opinion by watching somebody play, but I don't think I should have like a score because until I try it out, it's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be telling somebody that just because you watched it and you enjoyed it, that your opinion doesn't count because you have to play it. But at the same time, it's, why is it, why do we have to sit there and contradict everything? You know what I mean? You should be able to do that. But at the same time, for myself, I don't feel like I should be scoring something like that until I can actually get my hands on it and feel the play. Now, that being said, these review bombers, whether or not they love the first game or they're just automatically hating just to hate, you should look at the game for what it is. You know what I mean? Judge it for what it is. We know it's a sequel, and not all sequels will have a happy ending for your favorite character. So you gotta be a little bit more open-minded. Some people are just too close-minded with everything that they have. If it's not on console A because it's supposed to be on console B, or you know what I mean, they have this mentality of just hate versus open up and accept it for what it is. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, move on. It's just like the review bombers. You got the other ones that go the opposite direction. No matter what it is, they'll put a 10 on it because it's something that they're gonna say. And to me, I feel I've been educated a little bit more on the 10 process when it comes to the media. No, a 10 is not a perfect game. It's you could still have flaws for a 10, but I've always looked at it as a 10 is a perfect game. So when Zelda got a 10 across the board, I'm like, how is it perfect if everybody's complaining about it? You know what I'm saying? So this is the same thing. How is it perfect? But yet again, no game will ever be perfect. Everybody has different tastes. Everybody has different outlooks on certain things. You know, not everybody wants to cook. Not everybody wants to build weapons. Everybody just wants to, do their own way. So they'll look at it a little bit different. So their 10 might not be the same as your 10. You see, and that's why I don't, on the one side, I also don't like to put out numbers when it comes to scores. I like yay, meh, and nah. You know what I mean? It's those three. It's either yes, I like it, I can live without it, or definitely not for me. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion. My opinion should not have a reflection of that game other than, hey, we're on the same page when it comes to certain thought patterns of games. That you like first-person shooters, I like first-person shooters. If you don't like it, I might not like it, but at least try it out. Don't be automatically, saying, oh, well, this guy said no, so definitely don't do it. What was it? Disintegration. I played that game 2 different times, and I try to get into it. And I was talking to Centurion, and he actually loves it. So what am I supposed to say? You're wrong for it because I didn't like it? You know what I mean? You don't do that. You don't do that to a friend. You don't do it to anybody. You could say why you don't like it, and you move on. And that's what they're doing here. They're not saying why they don't like it. They're bashing Last of Us and just bombing it for whatever reason. And just like the other ones, they're giving it perfect 10s because it's just a Sony game. For the ones that are actually truly saying, hey, it's a perfect 10 for me because of this, this, and this. Okay, it may have an issue, but for me, this is why I gave it a 10 score. At the same time, on the other side, I've had these issues, and this is why I'm bringing it a lower score because I wanted more out of this, or this didn't meet my expectations. But that's why, yet again, you have to judge these games for what they are. That game, even though it's a sequel, for that game, was it good or not? Was it for you or not?
I think you make a lot of valid points on this. That it's really, open to the interpretation of the reviewer, and that you should basically try everything for yourself. And I think that a lot of these review bombs, like you said, are probably people that just really did not play the game, and just went based off of what they seen without trying the game, or were spoilers in the story that they saw that they were angry about. And they're going to miss out on a great opportunity because they might have liked the game in general if they would have just tried it. Even if they just rented it to try it, I think that it's a missed opportunity for most gamers. And, speaking of a topic that's been very dissatisfying for many people, was EA Play Live. I think that for this year, this has been the biggest letdown of a conference, except for that one game that Zoink showed, and possibly Rocket Arena, which had some potential there. But to me personally, I feel like everything on EA Play Live was terrible. Star Wars Squadrons, after what I saw, that it was more for people that like really good combat simulators, I felt like the game was not for me because I'm a casual player when it comes to spaceflight combat, and I don't really like to get behind the cockpit of a X-Wing or a TIE fighter and then look at the whole screen and all these different things. I just want to be able to go fly and shoot things. So for me, it kind of turned me off to the game, and I thought it was more or less mediocre, like a meh kind of for me. I know that Assassin's going to feel very different than me on this one, so go ahead and go to him so he can just get it out there. Assassin, how'd you feel about EA Play Live?
I thought it was EA in the past had bad shows. I think this took the spot for number one. I think it was awful. They didn't even really need to do a show, I don't think. The Star Wars Squadrons and Zoink's game, I thought showed very well. I'm looking forward to playing both of those games in the future. But everything else, like, especially with the sports, like, I don't like sports games. I don't like watching sports. But it was a huge missed opportunity to show, like, PS5 or Series X, like, Madden or FIFA or whatever gameplay, instead of a trailer of, we saw like a lot of eyeballs and backs of jerseys. Like I get it, it's sports, but like I'd rather see, how good the game's gonna look, or you know, some of the indies or whatever that they showed, that Rocket whatever arena or whatever you call the clowns. Like I don't think that looks good, especially since it's like a 3v3. Like I feel like every time I play a game of friends, I have more than 3 players. So like what, we're just not gonna play with that one dude. And then at the end where they just showed us what's to come, like what was it? Need for Speed. Like, of course, we're getting another one next year. We've had a Need for Speed every 2 years, for a very long time. Same thing, and then Battlefield. Like, we saw a dude smiling to show off the promise of next gen. Like, great. Like, thanks. Like, I was expecting, because there was like rumors and all that other stuff for like a Battlefield 3 remaster.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people want that. Like, where's that? Or a Mass Effect trilogy remaster. Where in the world is that? Do you just not like money, EA? Because I feel like that would just print money. And yeah, other than that, like that was like what, an hour of my time wasted to see like really nothing.
Oh, and that secret code, right? EA Play Live.
Oh my god, yeah. If, that secret code, like, it was so fucking obvious. Like, the first 2 letters is EA. Like, great. That's not really secretive if you show EA Live all over the damn place.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I had the same takeaways from the show. The Rocket Arena, I'm sort of interested in. Like, I like the cartoony feel to it. The only thing that has me very concerned is that I tired of Overwatch pretty quickly. And the 3v3, I don't think that is good for an arena style game like that. I think you need at least like 4v4, 5v5, 6v6, something like that, because 3v3, not a whole lot of people can fit in that. So hopefully they do increase the amount of players that can play that. I just feel like a lot of people will be left out, especially in today's world with party chats and how big they've become and how many gamers are out there. I just think 3v3 is not cutting it at all for anybody. Dreadpool, have you had a chance to see the show?
Yes. I watched it through and through. There was a few times it was okay. It wasn't great. It didn't really hype up itself. Yet again, if we're gonna watch a game like Madden, don't give me some of those little cutscenes. You know what I mean? Let's watch some actual gameplay. Show me what it can do. What is the reason for this next Madden to be? You know what I mean? I've always said that certain sports games need to take like 2 to 3 years, maybe up to like a 4-year mark, where you make it a platform, and then you do like a DLC for every year, so you don't have to pay a full $60 every single year for one little tweak that they did, or maybe 2 tweaks, because the second tweak was to fix what they screwed up on the last tweak that they did last year. You know what I mean? So when it comes to sports games, I want to see a platform. I want to see them update the roster. I want to see them update the game a little bit, and then put their whole heart and soul while they're doing these updates into the next game and build it from the ground up with the new tech, everything new and special about it. Build it up so when you play it again, your mind is blown. You know what I mean? It's no longer that. It's the same old, same old. It's just a new face, maybe a couple extra sweat beads. Whoopie-doo. You know what I mean? And this is where we need to get these sports games to play better, because they're not just a small increment from last year. They need to be from the ground up, rebuilt, and put out there the right way. And then at the same time, not taking money from the fans and just throwing it out the window and giving us nothing. But I did like some of the games that they were out there. That one, I forgot his name. Keep meaning to write it down. The one developer that what's his name? He was a movie guy, movie producer. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. He did the A Way Out game. I think
Yes,
Assassin
yes,
knows those guys.
yes, that guy. Um, I liked his output. I liked the way he was saying that, he wanted to change. He wanted to bring more of the movies in, but yet at the same time develop more game. Change it and flip it on its head. Just the whole thing of uh, because yet again, here we are with Madden year after year after year. We're not doing anything. We're not developing the game. We're just increments. He's taking this and he's reimagining how we're going to play the game. When was the last time you found a game that you had to work like together with another person, as in A Way Out? I mean, yeah, you work co-op, or you're both fighting over the loot. You're both fighting the same person. But in this, you're doing two different things that react to get you to the same goal, but you're on two different sides of your screens. You know what I mean? You're doing two different things. You're actually living those characters' lives doing this objective together. And it's a timing thing. And, it's pretty cool that they've changed it up like that. And for him to be putting out these games like this, hopefully other people will take notice and do something more. How many times we're playing Halo, right? And we're all, let's say, 4-player Halo in campaign. We're all Master Chief. Why is it that? Why can't we all have a story? Okay, you're going to be Master Chief. You're going to be, this other guy here, and we're all going to have our own characters. So whoever's in first is Master Chief. That's the main game, and then everybody else falls in line as they go in, and they all have their own backstories. They all have something that contributes to the game. Do something like that. That's what I like about that. It's something different than everybody's doing. What's the point of everybody looking like Master Chief, and then when you go to cutscene, there's only one Master Chief, but yet we're all four of us playing Master Chief. So that was a great idea of how he wants to redesign everything. Skate was awesome. What else was there?
Zoink's
Star
game, Lost in Random.
Wasn't that? No, that looked cool. Yeah, that one there looked cool. Had that that claymation style vibe to it. Sort of, not really, but you know what I mean. Stop motion. The Star Wars one is really cool. Just seeing the cockpit and everything, just to be in there. Like you said, it's not going to be an easy thing when you only have a controller in your hand, and the cockpit has all these lights and buttons and everything going on. So how are you going to look left? How are you going to look right? How are you going to look behind you? How are you going to do all this? I could see this being implemented a lot easier. Hopefully a lot easier on VR, to get the real feel of it. But with the controller, I still got to play it to see how it's going to turn out. But I'm hyped for that game too. And I'm glad that there's nothing that are no microtransactions, so we'll see. At least it's a $40 game. It's not a full price game. And at least they were able to have a passion project and bring it out and give it to us without, sticking it to us.
Yeah, the one thing with the Way Out game, guys, I don't remember the name of the game that they showed at the EA Play Live, but I just wish they showed more gameplay than what they did, because I feel like for myself, I don't know enough about it yet. But I agree with the way you described it. It's like, co-op and working together kind of stuff. That's what he's known for. But I just wish I seen a little bit more gameplay on that. And the Lost in Random is what really stuck out to me. I think it's very artistic, creative, had a Coraline kind of feel to it, but with Zoink's fantastic artwork. Taylor, did you see EA Play Live?
I caught it after the fact, and I found myself skipping through a lot of it because I was kind of bored. I watched the Sims stuff because I've always played The Sims, and I own most of The Sims 4 currently. And then I'd watch Skate, and that was pretty much it. I wasn't really interested by anything else from EA Play Live. I was really bored by this conference. I'm not gonna lie.
Have you ever watched any of the other conferences at all?
Probably, but I don't really remember them.
That pretty much sums it up for EA
Yep.
in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there's not a lot for me to take away from this either. Rocket Arena, like I said, I have some interest in. I got to see more about it. Lost in Random is my biggest highlight from this, as I love Zoink as it is. I love Stick It to the Man. I think their stuff is fantastic. Story, artwork, everything. They always got it going for indie games. They're a fantastic studio, and they put a lot of love and creativity into what they put out. So I'm looking forward to that one. I wasn't really interested in the sports games. I feel like that it's the same stuff over and over again, littered with microtransactions now and all that kind of Madden team and the FIFA stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's just the same stuff over and over. How many times can you reskin the same thing if you don't add new mechanics to it? And what can you add to it anymore at this point? I think they have already pressed the bar and they can't go any further with those games.
Well, they'll stop making those games when they stop making billions of dollars every year for
Yeah.
microtransactions.
Exactly.
That's not going to happen, just like your Call
Stop
of
with
Duty.
the microtransactions.
Yes,
Jesus.
just like your Call of Duty microtransactions, Assassin. Stop.
No.
You are the one.
And I was disappointed in no Battlefield 3 remaster. I think that was my biggest disappointment in the EA Play Live. I expected something. The rumors were there. Everybody was talking about it. All the outlets were suggesting that it could happen, and nothing. They just completely let us down. And then they showed at the very, very end some Need for Speed scenes on next gen and how fast it loads. And then a very brief split second of a guy's face in the next Battlefield. And everybody's like, oh my god, this is a teaser for Battlefield 6. And you're looking at it like, what? It's just a guy's face. We don't know anything else about the game except claymation soldiers running across the clay-looking field. There's nothing there to tell you if it is Battlefield 6 or how what it's going to be like. It's just, I don't know, man. Disappointing. It was, I think, the worst EA Play Live ever, and I have lost all interest in almost every EA title going forward. And with that said, the last topic of the show is the Crash Bandicoot reveal, and I know that a lot of people love Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot 4 is, like a big deal. And then I seen all the remarks on Twitter saying that this game doesn't look good. It looks like a mobile game. How can they put this out? And then you had like 2 or 3 people say, no, I think the characters look better. It doesn't look like a mobile game. I watched the trailer briefly. I'm still going to get the game because I like Crash Bandicoot. I'm just really bad at those games, but I like it, so I'm going to get it. Assassin, do you have any takeaways on this? Did you watch the trailer?
Well, so I didn't watch the full trailer. I saw a little bit. I mean, it looked like Crash Bandicoot to me. I don't know what people were thinking. Like, I mean, it's just colorful as the other games that they put out. So, I mean, it's nice for getting more Crash Bandicoot. Now just give us Crash Bandicoot Tag Team Racing, and I'll be, happy.
Do you think this is going to be littered with microtransactions?
It's Activision. That's all that needs to be said. I mean, they came out and said, like, Activision makes $3 million a day from Call of Duty alone. So, just for microtransactions.
Wow. I'll never be part of that again. I am stopping all microtransactions going forward. Taylor,
Are you?
Yeah, I am. Taylor, what did you think? Did
Was.
you watch the trailer? Are you a fan of Crash? Is this going to make you run out and get, like, the next PlayStation thing just so you can play Crash next gen, all that stuff?
Well, I wanted PlayStation anyway, so I'm very excited that Crash 4 is coming out. Yes, I want a PlayStation. I want Crash Bandicoot 4. I'm very excited about this. I don't know why people are upset about this in any way, shape, or form. I'm confused. That's all I gotta say.
Dreadpool, you have thoughts on this?
I'm buying it. It might not be day one, I might have to wait out around for a bit, but I'm definitely buying it. My wife is a big Crash fan. I've always liked Crash, and from the get go, when the commercials, calling out everybody. So Nintendo, it was kind of funny. But from what I saw, the negativity was it looks like the old Crash. It doesn't look anything better. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It looks like the old Crash that they just redid on this last game. It retains the style, right? So we're talking about stylized graphics. The original didn't have the fur that we have now. You know what I mean? It was blocky and all that. So when they redid it, it was well worth the redo. You know what I mean? So we're not going back to what it was. It was like the old Conquer to the new Conquer. Yeah, could they do another one now and make it look better? Yeah, they could. But they're going to keep it as stylized as it was before. So you're going to have, what was it, Mr. Pooh or the Pooh Monster or whatever. You know what I mean? So they had all that stuff. They kept it true to its form. So why, Crash is going to do the same thing. It's keeping true to its form with the graphics that they had just released a couple of years ago. They're not going to go back to the old stuff, and complaining that they're using what they used a couple of years ago is ridiculous. You're saying, what did you want? A realistic Crash Bandicoot? I mean, is that what you guys wanted? Like a Fortnite Crash Bandicoot? I mean, you know what I mean? They're taking it to the extreme again on the opposite side. It's this, it's that. It's like, wait a second. You guys are complaining about everything. You guys nitpick about everything. Let's look at the game for what it's worth. It looks like a fun game. It looks like they actually added a couple more characters to play as other than Crash and then sometimes a sister. You know what I mean? So from what I saw, it looked pretty cool. It's not the highest detail quality graphics, but it retains the style. And to me, that's the main thing.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this, so I'm definitely going to get it, like I said. I know that Taylor was about to run out and go get a PlayStation for this, but it is multi-plat. So don't have no fear.
I'm getting a PlayStation anyway.
But yeah, I mean, if the chat has any questions, feel free to put it down there. And I know that a lot of people have said that DreadP00l has made a world tour, so I'd like to congratulate him on his podcast world tour. He's actually has gotten himself out there in the community, and I'm happy for him because he loves podcasting, he loves doing this. And I actually met DreadP00l on his first appearance on Boom Show. So that's how I met DreadP00l, and I love DreadP00l. I think he's a cool dude, and I love having him on the show. He's always has insightful thoughts and opinions on topics, and he's just a good dude in the gaming community. DreadP00l, I want to go ahead and ask you if you could shout out your social media links where people can find you.
Yes, my social security number is... well... You can find me on Twitter at DreadP00l. The O's are actually zeros. YouTube, my gamer tag, and Stadia, all DreadP00l, all caps, all letters. And for the exclusive time for the next month, I will still be on Mixer at DreadP00l, all caps, all letters. And looking like I'll be switching to the Twitch streams a little bit more often recently. And obviously, after next month, it will be more often because there won't be a Mixer. But it's _real_DreadP00l, all caps, all letters. At least the name is. So, yeah, thanks for having me out here, man. Appreciate it. And as always, my DMs are open. So if anybody wants to chat about anything, I'm cool with it. Let's understand each other versus fighting each other.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, and you always bring that kind of, common sense knowledge to podcasts that you debate, you don't argue. It's more of a civil conversation, and it's always appreciated, man. Love having you on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Assassin, where can people find you lately?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, mostly every day on streaming. But with Last of Us, I'm taking a break from Twitch just to, just experience Last of Us Part 2 without, having to stream and whatnot. So, but tomorrow I'll be on new Minecraft update. So we'll definitely be doing that.
So just to be clear, it's twitch.tv/ZPCI_assassin. It's on Twitch, not Mixer. Don't get confused. Taylor, where can people find you and what's been going on with you? Shout out your social media links here.
For the most part, you can find me on Twitter, which is zebrafries, however you want to say it. It's where I'm mostly at right now, and then on Xbox, same thing, zebrafries. That's where I'm mostly at currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So everybody go give her a follow as well. Give DreadP00l a follow. Give ZPCI_assassin follow everywhere. And if Xbot, if you're lurking in the chat, we did challenge you and the next podcast to golf with friends. You guys said you'd play us, and you've gone silent. Maybe our Mixer streams have scared you because we have skills. A lot of skills. Many skills. Hole-in-one skills and albatross skills. So hit us up and we can get a time set up. Yes. Hole-in-one skill. Yes, absolutely. Well, that's it for today's show. We'll be back next week. Thank you for watching. We appreciate everybody in the chat. Inferno, Nakub, Smitty, Noof, Indie Gamer, Daz, as always, the best moderator in the universe. Invader, who stopped by, Stinger, Fastback, Indie Gamer, all you guys, we love you. Anybody else I may have missed, Irrelevant Native, thank you for stopping by as well. Definitely appreciate it. And until next time, next week, we'll see you guys later. Oh, and Graphic God, sorry. Oh, and one more thing, because we started this thing that was kind of like Fastback and Stinger's idea. All the podcasts, a smaller podcast, got together. So I want to shout out my brothers at NLG Gaming, Retro Renegades, TXR Podcast. Also, give a big shout out to the Dazcast. All the dudes that have ever been on Dazcast are awesome as well. So, yeah, and next week we'll be back, same time. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.